All right, Virgo. I've been thinking about this spread here, meditating on it for a bit. And let's just get into it. So, presently, you've accepted something that once might not have been. Ooh. Well, there you go. There's a sign right there. That once might not have been something that you were willing to accept. This is also an anticipation of something that you knew was coming in. I'm even seeing like accepting a package being delivered at your front door. That is coming through with this. A piece of mail. It's like, it doesn't have to be a literal circumstance in your life where you're getting literal mail, but it could have something to do with that. But there's something here about accepting that something is on its way, or something that is coming to, maybe this was something that you delayed accepting, that you didn't want to deal with, or that you were somehow not emotionally resonating with. What you're thinking about the situation is that you're either conflicted mentally, and I see conflicted because of this, and also what you're not aware of being also slightly conflicted about a choice, about being receptive. Do I want to receive what's coming in? There has been a delay in that. This could have been, I don't think it's an argument necessarily or a fight, but you might be feeling, not necessarily feeling, but you might have a lot of rushing thoughts, conflicting thoughts about this situation. Your communication might be coming off as combative, slightly, in regards to this situation. Like I said, there's something here that you didn't know that you'd have to make a decision on, or you were trying to protect yourself. Your intuition might have been trying to let you know that something was going in this direction, but you weren't ready to look at it. You were letting it pass you by. The eclipse back here shows that something is completed, that there's a great change that has been going on, and you might have been kind of avoiding that, or not putting your focus on it. But now it seems like you're accepting that this is what it is. Now, it's not necessarily negative, like I said. Maybe you weren't thinking logically about the situation. Somebody else in the situation might not have been thinking logically about something, and that something is ended in some sort of way or completed, okay? In the near past, I'm reading this a few different ways, so some of it will apply to some of you, and some of, the other things I say will apply, and it may not all resonate with, every single person that ends up watching this. But there was an advance of some kind, but it either wasn't genuine, or it wasn't, there's a denial of something here. So it's either you denied some sort of advance in terms of a relationship of any kind, okay? Could be friendship, could be love, could be, or the other person denied you and your advance, okay? But something, it's like boundaries, right? It's like, I don't want to deal with this. I don't have time to deal with this. I'm busy with school, or I'm busy with work, or the amount of changes I will need to make to deal with this is too much. And so maybe because these offerings, this gesture of love or appreciation or kindness or worse, halted, put on pause, or maybe the ending of this situation was put on pause. This could have to do with a third party situation, other entities or people involved that were getting in the way of this kind of getting off the ground. Maybe somebody was offering something that wasn't as genuine, or wasn't well received by one party or the other, and there was a need for change in the situation, but there was somebody not willing to let go of attention they were getting for something they were doing, whether that was a work related thing or relationships. But there is something here about being denied something that you either wanted, or you denying somebody because you feel that it wasn't going to be something that would work for you. You didn't think that that person was thinking logically, or your emotions weren't matching up with the physical reality of this situation. This can have to do with school or children in some sort of way. So if you had children, maybe you were dealing with some kind of issue with their schooling. This could also have to do with your education, and you not wanting or being ready to deal with furthering your education. But I'm thinking it's more romantic or co-creative, in a sense where there were other people involved in a situation you didn't see eye to eye with the way they did things, their philosophies on things, their methodology. And so there was this, you were maybe considering it at one point, but then there was a need for change, or it might have been somebody in the past that maybe this goes way back to when you were kids in school, and how something ended but never really ended. The relationship between two friends, or a first love situation. Maybe there was a third party involved. But there was, or maybe you were in a relationship where somebody else, people in a third party situation didn't want to look at the truth of a matter, or you couldn't face the truth of some sort of heartbreak there was an irrational kind of, something wasn't adding up mentally for you, and it was causing you emotional pain. So you went on to heal that pain and release yourself from any restrictions with the situation. This could have been a non-traditional kind of situation, and so that was offsetting to somebody. In the near future, something happens externally. This is a very sudden realization. This is like the finger of the divine being like, nope, we're changing this. We're doing something is going to happen that's going to cause a major shift in someone else's circumstances. You might have been rejected for something, whether that be with an educational program, whether that be with a lover, whether that be with a friend. And now somebody is waiting, somebody has accepted the offer, but time has passed and there's distance now. But something happens that changes somebody else's circumstances. This could have been having to do with fears as well. A fear of expressing yourself creatively. A fear of rejection. But something else happens outside of you, regardless of all that, that ends up changing something. It changes the environment in some sort of way. It changes the routine. It changes, people in your day-to-day life, or that have been in your day-to-day life. It changes for them in some sort of way. Your advice is to let go of what has been too heavy to carry, emotional burdens, emotional fluctuations that are just ending up being draining to you, exhausting you, that are a never-ending story of emotional turmoil. You're being asked to release that, to let it go. Just let it release. Because, she's like walking on this, I don't even know what you call that, old boardwalk thing. She's got to keep her balance, right? You can't really keep your balance when you got like a ton of weight on your back. You got to be free to like move. And so in order to navigate a narrow path, or a path that's been emotionally kind of draining and turbulent, and keep your even footing and your groundedness in the situation, you need to release what's not yours to carry anymore. Like anything that isn't yours, anything that has been troublesome for you, that has not allowed you this kind of lightheartedness. If this is a relationship, it's asking you to really consider if you've been carrying somebody or somebody else's emotional problems, or it's asking you to release the emotional burden that someone else has caused you in a relationship, okay? And that's relationships of all kinds, clients, coworkers, all kinds of things, lovers. So other people in your situation, somebody's plans or strategy did not go the way they wanted it to, because some kind of new understanding or truth is coming out. If this is a secret, it's coming out. If was deception by someone else in the situation, that is also coming out. Vice versa, if there was deception on your end, that will maybe come out. This is in the house of placement of secrets, okay? And I got truth, underhanded takings that are to be revealed, and secrets coming to the light. What was dark is now being brought to the light. So, and then there's this crushed sadness, crashing out, kind of feeling alone kind of card here. So I think that whatever was done with the truth coming out, okay, or somebody's strategies, what they were working towards, what they were thinking, now being realized to be not the case or not true, okay, for the other people involved in the situation. Any confusion about this is now coming to light. So anything that was, if somebody else wronged you and they didn't understand why or what happened, they are getting clarity on what they did, the harm that they caused. And that's really causing them a little bit of inner turmoil. This also can be plans that were kind of kept in secret, new information coming in. 7, spirituality, right? Spiritual, you know, it's the higher mind usually, and you know, spiritual experience. With the 7, we're using that to our advantage in the swords. But it seems like somebody gets caught up. Somebody's games or their deception or their taking the easy road or the the avoidance, right, is realized. And it's probably on their part. They realize that they might have made a mistake, I think. Or you realized somebody's games in a situation, whether that be, like I said, any kind of relationship, any kind of, we're in relation to everything around us, so this can apply in many different ways. But there is something here about some sort of deception coming to light. Somebody deceiving themselves. Somebody wasn't thinking clearly about a situation. Hopes and fears. You are fearful of losing control of your power in a situation. That you won't be able to tame your desires, maybe to go towards this person and try to soften the situation. You fear that you won't stand your ground in terms of boundaries, okay? You may desire to smooth over somebody else's untamability, if that's even a word. Their feral wildness, you may desire to kind of come in and smooth that over. Because you weren't ready to face the truth about something or someone, okay? And now something's happened externally that's caused something to come out in the light, and You're being advised to let go of what has been holding you back or causing you strife and emotional turmoil and feeling pulled, this push and pull. This might have been a cat and mouse kind of game situation. You're conflicted because that's the back and forth, right? You're being advised to let go of that, to make a decision, and you will make a decision. You might not have wanted to make a decision. You might have realized you were bypassing something or allowing something to go on for a certain amount of time, turning a blind eye to something, but you're not doing that anymore. There's going to be something that comes in that is just blatant in a situation. It's going to give you clarity about somebody else in your life. Something might happen in this person's life, or they might do something that gives you that understanding of what's been going on or how to handle a certain situation. Now, outcome. Releasing yourself from stagnancy, yes, but mental, it's like a mental prison with the Eight of Swords. And she's also, see how she had the blindfold over here? She's dropping that blindfold now. Those swords are coming out of the ground. They're getting out of her way. She's not afraid to step forward anymore. She's not letting her fears hold her back or indecision hold her back. She's moving on to complete. Even if she doesn't want to face what she fears in the Nine of Swords, because the 8 goes to the 9, right? She's willing to accept what is going to be the truth that is, or truths that are before her, so that she can complete the cycle. Because she doesn't want to stay in this prison in her mind, you know? I feel like you're finally willing to look at something with new eyes. Whether that's accepting something in the past that you didn't want to, like an offer of some kind, or that an offer was disingenuous, that there was other things involved in the situation or other what is the word I'm looking for? Intentions. And there's like the Knight of Cups is usually in the upright. He's a gesture of love. Somebody asking you out on a date. Somebody confessing their love to you. Somebody doing something kind for you because of love, because they feel a psychic connection to you, they feel love for you, they, you know. But in the reverse, it's like a holding back of that. Or maybe it's a bit shy, it can be shy, right? But it also can be somebody that is unrequited, who doesn't feel the same way, but they may offer that cup anyway. It's not, their emotions aren't matching up with their actions. This is also kind of a victim mentality. That's the best way I can use to describe it, where this is the damsel in distress over here, and this is the knight coming in, And he's too late because she's already freed herself. She's released herself from this prison. Now, this can be also your associated relationships, your associates, your friends and such, not coming in to help you in regards to a matter. This could be this one person, okay, that's involved in this situation, or it could be you feeling alone, isolated, feeling like you're going through something alone because other people aren't showing up the way you wanted them to, or people might be cold or standoffish in regards to this situation with you. Or it could be for this person that's going through this. People aren't being reciprocated. There's a holding back. There's a holding back here, denial, don't want to deal with it. Then presently there's an acceptance and there's a waiting. This is what we're dealing with currently, in the moment. Something I was distracted and I wasn't paying attention to and that I didn't want to deal with, or that wasn't as interesting to me, is now looking better. And I am now waiting for that to come back to me so that I can build something I'm excited about, that I can get that spark back and build a foundation with that in some sort of way. But I don't have the Four of Wands on the table. I have the Five of Wands, which is conflict. Fight or flight. Confrontation or allowance. And there's a 5. She's got her 5 fingers up like this. Somebody was guarded or something. And the Strength card in reverse, unable to get someone to open up to you, unable to sexually connect with somebody, emotionally connect with somebody, not feeling like you have the strength to deal with somebody's animalistic tendencies or their wildness of some kind. I don't have the Knight of Rods or Wands. So I'm not going to say it's somebody's infidelity necessarily, or their playboy kind of ways, or, impulsivities. But this is like somebody who's not showing that they care about something. It's a gesture that isn't either being well received, or it doesn't feel like what it's supposed to feel like. It's breadcrumbing, maybe even. Like, here, come out, and yeah, it's not as exciting. People aren't willing to help out in a situation or add to a certain relationship in the way that's needed, that's gonna be genuine in some sort of way. Spiritually, what's going on is that there's a need to take time to reflect on a certain relationship or the harmony in one's own relationship with self and their inner world. I often will see, like, I do add this card placement in here. It's not a typical Celtic cross. So when I read it as something that is not changeable in the situation of the outcome, is that it's a waiting. This is a waiting that someone else has put you in. It's not in the upright, it's in the reverse. It's somebody's now waiting because somebody else has now said, okay, well, that's nice, but I'm in a relationship. Or, that's nice, but we're starting back over at the beginning of this relationship. Because time has passed, or things were held up for so long that there's a need to reacquaint ourselves. Or finding out who you are separated. Like a separation of your energy from a relationship of some kind. A need for that. Or there's that's coming in regardless of I mean, somebody's been carrying some kind of emotional burden with the situation. You're being asked to let go of it. So there is some sort of acceptance now. That things have changed in a situation. Delayed transformation with this death card in reverse. Just because you slow it down doesn't mean it's not going to happen, right? Things take time sometimes. External changes to an environment, the environment of the situation. Secrets, emotions coming to light about how somebody handled the situation, maybe, or how they felt. The Hangman, he puts himself in a timeout when he's in the upright. He says, okay, I need to reflect. Like, that stuff comes up, it happens externally, and then I put myself off to the side here so that I can gain insight about my situation, connect spiritually, so I have a greater, higher understanding of something. This is Pisces energy and Leo here. This is also about confinement, the 12th house, okay? So there's a releasing from restrictions about our spiritual beliefs, our beliefs about relationships, being released from some sort of hang-ups having to do with a partnership or relationship of some kind, or the harmony within one. Wanting to, after taking time to reflect, wanting to take action on how you feel about somebody or something. Wanting to share how you think and feel about something, someone. But it's saying something is done now. Insatiable in reverse. That somebody's done with something. That it's not a wish fulfillment in some sort of way. Maybe you've had enough of waiting around. I feel like this is a karmic lesson for somebody else in the situation. And this was like this. I picked it up the other way. So there's somebody wasn't thinking logically. There was maybe a third party involved or some kind of... They made an impulsive decision to communicate about something that broke their heart of some kind. There's a breaking of tradition. A releasing of a legacy or letting go. Somebody feeling left out. The devil is like, it can be wild and untamed, right? Like I said with this card, this unable to tame, but wanting to be free. Freedom. Somebody might have got their freedom in a situation in the past by denying something, but now they are having to deal with the karmic consequences of now wanting to have some boundaries, or they weren't thinking clearly about boundaries. They didn't think clearly about a situation and end up hurting somebody else, possibly. But this has been long done and gone. And now there's like no hope. Maybe somebody's been humbled in a situation. Because I have embarrassed in appearances in the reverse. Something is no longer on the table because somebody might be already committed to some other project, person, or thing. Okay. First house. You're going to be accepting things about your physical body and yourself and your personality, and you're just going to be coming to terms with who you are. You're going to be emotionally accepting and recognizing who you are and how, and it's not like a humdrum, like it's a, okay, I love myself. I have a foundation of love for myself. That's really good. I like that for you, Virgo. So then, second house. Waiting for money to come to you either in the mail, or maybe you're about to complete some sort of project that you've been very passionately working towards, a passion project, and so there's some sort of money coming in from that, but it's on the horizon. You know it's coming. This could be anything from, it's something that you value, right? Could have to do with a skill set or a hobby. So you're waiting for something. It could be a tool. I don't know why I said that. Some kind of tool that you're using for some kind of project or skill that you do coming in, or the last piece to something so that you can celebrate. You're waiting for somebody to something here about the receiving of some sort of gift as well. whether it's you've been working towards something in terms of a skill set and now you're starting to see that it's time to celebrate, almost, that you're accomplishing, mastering some kind of project that you've been working on. You're putting the finishing touches on it, trying to make it so that you can enjoy it. This could also be about decorating a home, spending money on decorating a home, what you value in within a space, or it's, you know, you had money to build your home office or something like that. Third house, how you're communicating. Like I said, you could be a little bit combative in your communication, or coming off a bit aggressive. So just keep that in mind. You also could be very conflicted and confused about the other people in your dynamic. This could be neighbors arguing. This could be siblings, fighting with siblings, cousins, just like spats, debates, even politics, and stuff like that. Can, you know, just like, you know, people bring up something at the dinner table, you're like, why did you say that? Why'd you go there? But there could be some kind of bumping of heads with communication in this time for you. There's a decision about your home, or a family member you might not have been wanting to look at or deal with. This could be literally just a situation within the home that you have to make a decision on. You've just been like, I don't want to deal with this. I don't want to have to call the plumber. Or I don't want to have to, you know, anything to do with that kind of stuff. Or I don't want to have to make a decision about whether or not I want to kind of take a step back from a family member who is, I'm having to protect my heart in some sort of way, or, you know, just, or maybe I should just let it go, let it slide kind of thing. A decision about home and family, some kind of decision will be coming up. Fifth house, unrequited love or immature love that has been not well reciprocated, or that's been kind of arrogant or pompous. I see you feeling like somebody isn't getting the point that they may be making advances, and you're just like, you're not my cup of tea, or you just, you know, dude, I don't really need the attention. I'm wearing glasses because I don't want to be seen. I want to cover myself up, you know. She's kind of, you know, conservative, and somebody is being childish maybe about some kind of romantic advance, or even something creative, like a fan, somebody who's, I don't know, it could be a fan, somebody who is excited about something you create, or maybe you are getting some attention that you don't want from some kind of creative project, or some person that's involved in, you know, romantically involved with you in some sort of way, whether you want to be involved with them or not. Sixth house. Something could break at work. If you work at a place that has appliances, or be careful of electronics, be careful of things breaking and falling. A foundation somewhere is like, there's something that's not stable enough, and so just be careful on ladders, be careful with any kind of electrical appliances that may be broken. There could be an accident in the workplace that happens to somebody else. There also could be bad weather that affects your workplace in some sort of way, or somebody unable to get to work because of some bad weather. Yeah, I see this triangle here, and there's like a kick up of dust at the bottom. So just be aware, if you live in an area that has extreme weather, just be safe. Maybe, you know, take the day off from work if it looks like that outside or something. This is also about your health. So your feet, because, and I have here Pisces, which rules the feet, that's in the house of Pisces, that's got his feet. He's kicking up his feet. You might step on something with your feet that's sharp. Be careful. Don't step on something that's sticking up from the ground. Watch where you're going. Like, she's got her eyes blindfolded here. She's taking those blindfolds off because she wants to watch where she's going. She doesn't want to get injured or anything. So be careful of your feet. Anything to do with the legs, the bottom of the body. So, this is also about falling, so just be careful you're not going to trip on anything. All right, let's get to this one. So, 7th house, relationships. Letting go of a relationship that's been too heavy to carry, because you're just protecting your own emotional balance. You want less turmoil. You don't want somebody who's coming in and going all the time, whether that be a friend, a client who's wishy-washy, not committed to actually, you know, any contracts that you might have with them, or they're just like 1 foot in, 1 foot out kind of bullshit you don't want to deal with. So you're letting that go. You might be dropping a client or dropping a situationship or something. Shared resources. Things you share with others, deep intimacy. Somebody's mistakes could be catching up with them. There's a truth coming to light. Like I said, there's something here about, and it could be having to do with the past, okay? Something that somebody did in the past. Could have been somebody you shared deep feelings for. Anybody. Could have been an intimate relationship, because the 8th house is about sex and intimacy, right? So you might be like finding out something that happened a long time ago. And that will kick things back up from the past for you. It might trigger you in some sort of way. So just be prepared for that. Somebody from your past that you shared experiences with, or, you know, physicality with in some sort of way, whether that be apartment, or you were roommates, or you were lovers and roommates, or, you know, whatever. Even marriage, you know. Because the 7th house is also about contracts, commitments, and relationships, and more seriousness in relationships. So this is could be about divorce. Okay, so maybe somebody did something in the past. You might have already divorced this person, okay? But it seems like whatever they did or didn't do that was not a deal breaker, right? You're no longer willing to share that connection or that kind of level of intimacy with this person again. or they realize that you're no longer willing to do that with them, and they're really upset about it. But ninth house of beliefs, you might be letting go of control and opening yourself up to a more I'm trying to figure out what the word is. You're not going to be people pleasing as much in terms of your beliefs. And that's another thing that's coming to mind. You're not going to be trying to soften who you are and what you believe for other people anymore. You might believe that you're losing power and control of a situation. If that's happening, obviously just take a deep breath and kind of know that, like, sometimes things happen. You might feel out of control. Maybe your beliefs on sexuality and in some sort of way are changing. The Seven of Swords can be, it's an Aquarius card, right? Aquarius is the sign that I and a lot of other people associate with sexual diversity. Because it's different, right, than the norm. The Seven of Swords can also be about innovation. And so this in reverse can be about stealing, right? So if somebody stole something from you or treated you in a certain way that was not very nice, this is like your fear of just going crazy on them. You might believe that you might have been the kind of person that smoothed things over, that really believed in being more civil and diplomatic as well, right? I think that you're getting a little fiery. You're thinking that you want to fight. You might be feeling like you're losing control because you've been carrying something for so long, and you might be very emotionally turbulent at this time over something that's happened, or, you know, your beliefs on your higher knowledge as well. You're just kind of unable to kind of tame some sort of spiritual or educational revelation, some kind of, you've let Pandora's box open now, and you can't unsee what you've seen. You can't tame something, Virgo. This is like a raw, wild power, unyielding power. You may be afraid of that. You may be afraid of losing control and losing, you know, going off the handle with something. Whether it be in a sexual way, in a in an aggressive way, in a ferocity kind of way. Your beliefs on intimacy and your relations to power and other people in your life, and how you handle those people might be changing. Excuse me. So now 10th house, you are releasing yourself from a fear of what others think of you, of your reputation. You are letting go of some kind of status of some kind. Maybe this is in career. You are walking out that door. You're not being held up and stagnated anymore by, maybe you've wanted to do something in terms of career for a long time. You've been so afraid you haven't been able to make a move, and now you're just saying, screw it, I'm going for what I want now. I don't care what other people think of me anymore. I'm not going to hold myself back because of what others want from me. I'm not going to be caring what my family or other people in my life are thinking about what I do with other people, whether it be in relationship to other people, who I have sex with, anything to do with how many partners I have. I mean, it just, my beliefs are changing about that. I don't care what people think about that part of me anymore. And I'm not, your opinions aren't warranted. Like, you're like, nah, I'm good. Yeah, somebody that you're friends with could do something for you, or try to do something for you, or come back around, and you, I don't know, it doesn't feel genuine, or it's not well reciprocated on your end. There's something here about somebody not doing what they were supposed to do in terms of a relationship dynamic association that you have. Friends, co-workers, colleagues, people that we bump into, that we associate with, where we're connected to in the grand scheme of things, right? People that help us along our journey as well. Maybe you thought that a friend would be there for you during this time, and they just haven't been giving you the love or showing you the love that you thought you would get from them, or that they have in the past. So 12th house, like I said, spiritual realizations about relationships, or some kind of love. So having taken time to reflect on something, realizing that there is genuine harmony and love in a situation, or feeling, now that you've connected to the divine, you can feel that you are in partnership with spirit in some sort of way, or feeling connected to a passed on loved one that maybe have been a Pisces, Leo. This is also about them wanting you to, I'm hearing that song. This is going to sound really corny, guys. I Hope You Dance by, I think it was Leanne Womack. Something here about somebody wanting to see you happy. Somebody letting you know that, like, I am here with you. Like, we're still buddies. We're still close. Might not be physically close, but we are still. This is also, like, I feel like telepathic communication. If this is somebody that's still here in this three-dimensional world, there's somebody here that's, like, telepathically communicating. There's a connection, a deep connection spiritually to something or somebody. Somebody might be trying to connect with you through telepathy. You're getting mixed signals about something, or there's confusion or conflict there. Because they can't they can't like do it. They can't bring themselves to do it because they're afraid of something. They're a coward. I don't know. Something here about somebody being unable to actually get in control of their emotions and feel powerful in a situation and make the genuine offer. So they're trying to go about it in a different kind of weird kind of way, like abstract or non-traditional, but like back alley kind of way. I don't know. All right, Virgo, I hope you enjoyed this reading. I'm sorry if it was really long, but this one kind of started developing. I started connecting like in bits and pieces, and it sometimes lags. So, and I'm not going to edit it because that's a whole lot of work I don't want to do. But if you would like a personal reading with me, it would be a pre-recorded reading. Basically, you'd contact me by email, wickedmagpie@gmail.com, and then I will send you my payment information and the pricing and all that stuff, and then you'll pay me through PayPal, I think it is, now that I have set up PayPal or Venmo, and then we can get you booked on my book over here, and then I will do your reading and then post it to YouTube, giving you a private link to it. I also offer traditional witchcraft services. If you're interested in any of that, that is on my website, which can be found in my About Me area on YouTube. All right. Take care. Bye.